Hello everyone. In today's video, I want to present to you what I call the pyramid of health. Unlike the food guide pyramid we were raised with, which was two-dimensional, this one is three-dimensional. In the traditional food guide pyramid, food groups are not what is really shown. It's inaccurate. What is shown is industries. Dairy is not a food group, it's an industry. Grain is not a food group, it's an industry. These are the actual macronutrient food groups that every child and every adult should know about. Protein, fats, and carbohydrates. And there are micronutrients within it. As we rotate the pyramid of health, we see this side has exercise. And exercise has three main categories as well. Those categories would be cardiovascular, resistance training, and flexibility. These need to be in some kind of a balance. It doesn't necessarily have to be exact equal proportions of each. There might be equal proportions of each of these nutritional components by calorie, or you might shift it in favor of one macronutrient over the other, depending on your genetics and your situation. But overall, there needs to be some sort of a balance. And exercise is the same way. This is something you have to do. If you're incarnated in a human body, you have to have these to some extent so that you'll be healthy. It doesn't have to be in the gym. You might be able to do some of these just by going for a walk as a way to start. As we turn it further, we have rest, and that includes physical rest, that is to say sleeping, getting REM sleep. There's also emotional or mental rest, which is important. And then you have another form of rest, which is your environmental rest, social rest, as it were. And a lot of people find that going to the beach or walking on the sandy shores of some wonderful place or being out in the woods is a perfect way to rest the spirit. So that's something to consider. And at any rate, rest is essential to recover from all the stresses of the world. And as we turn to the last face of the pyramid, we have hygiene. And hygiene is the fourth principle here to the pyramid. Now, hygiene comes in three main categories. Once again, you have personal hygiene. This is, washing your underarms and your dusky unmentionables and brushing your teeth and combing your hair and making sure your skin's clean and just all the basics to your body. You also have consumable hygiene. That is to say, you want to keep things that you put in your body clean, right? If your food is contaminated, for example, that would be bad. Also, you have to consider the types of things you're putting into your body. Just make sure you're not hurting yourself with some sort of a toxin. And then another form of hygiene is environmental hygiene. That's the things around you, keeping your living area clean, keeping your surroundings of your household clean. The environmental cleanliness plays a role into this. So those are the four main facets I wanted to show everyone: nutrition, exercise, rest, and hygiene. There is one other thing I wanted to point out. You see, the base of this pyramid sort of represents the physical plane. And as we proceed to the top of the pyramid, it sort of represents the mental or spiritual plane of existence, the awareness of human consciousness. And for every one of these, rest, hygiene, nutrition, exercise, there's a mental, a psychological, or spiritual component to each one of those. For example, what is the mental or spiritual parallel to exercise in the physical world? Well, on up in the mental plane, mental exercise. Well, that could be solving puzzles or doing art or many other things. And what about spiritual rest? Is there such a thing? Well, yes, of course. And many people find that meditation would be a type of spiritual rest, okay? What about spiritual cleanliness? Is there such a thing? Yes, of course. What you put into your mind changes your surroundings because that's the sort of stuff that you're getting a feedback from. If you constantly observe negative things, that's going to affect your mental or spiritual hygiene. You have to imagine things that are good and start at that point and not a negative point if you can. Very difficult sometimes. And then there's also a nutritional, what is the spiritual or mental equivalent of nutrition? Well, that's feeding your consciousness. What do you put into your consciousness? What is good for your mind and your spirit? And I would say that it's has a lot to do with your belief system. You may find that religion or church offers spiritual nutrition, or it may be going off to the wilderness and being with friends at the lake, or any number of things that feeds your soul, as it were. So, anyways, let's continue. Let's go a little deeper into each one of these facets. We'll start with nutrition.